there's been an issue that's been, I wouldn't say bothering me, but it's been concerning over the past few weeks. And it concerns the media and politics. You would have well seen that video that some folks produced naming some media entities, naming individuals, reporters, media bosses, and affixing a label to them. That kind of thing is unwelcome in any democracy. It's unpleasant. It is not useful, ought not to have happened. And even before then, I had the feeling that some way, somehow, the partisan politicians and their even more dangerous minions, those operatives, those who operate in the sleeper cells, they have somehow achieved great success in politicizing the media, at least in the minds of the media. Here's what I mean. Behind the scenes, listeners, viewers, is a battle for the hearts and minds of those of us who own space on a radio station and occupy space and work in that space, those who write in the newspapers, all of us as media practitioners who are front-facing to the public. There's this raging battle for hearts and minds. And what is happening and what has happened is that there are certain political operatives who have woven their way into the spaces occupied by media practitioners. They have befriended certain media practitioners. And they've used that friendship not to ensure that they get favorable coverage, because every politician wants favorable coverage. It's not that. Their job is to make this and that journalist believe that other journalists are their enemies. I've been told that there are people who have managed to convince some practitioners that some of their colleagues are on the take. What do I mean by on the take? That you're taking money. That there are journalists taking money to write certain stories, to produce certain stories, to angle things a certain way, and to make one side look better than the other. It's a fact of my knowledge. That thing is. I find that to be very dangerous and disheartening, because I'm looking at it from the perspective of, well, what if the person they tell you is on the take isn't on the take? How does that work? And when you believe that your colleagues are on the take, what does that mean about the profession that you operate in? The particular claim of journalists taking money to produce stories is particularly troubling for me, because many years ago, when I was in another phase of my career, a certain gentleman said to Cliff that me, George Davis, and another colleague at the time, he had credible information that we were paid to do stories. Me nearly dropped down when me hear. I said, me? Me? And of course I swore for myself. And I could have swear for my colleague as well. Said no go so. But there was a particular story that was carried that burnt that individual and his collaborators and enablers. And in his mind, the only way that story could have been produced was if somebody had paid to do it. To this day, I haven't forgotten it. Every time I see the man's face, me just get cross. Wicked, wicked man. And perhaps if Cliff Hughes was a different person, I'd have met trouble, serious trouble. My career would have been compromised. But he knew better. He knew better than to believe that nonsense. But you ask the question, we operate in this space. Have we ever heard that there are many of our colleagues or some who are on the take? Of course you hear. Do I have any proof that any of them have or are? I have no proof. And so my thinking, admittedly, is a bit muddled on this issue because I can't get over the rage I felt when the suggestion was made about myself years ago. That once me hear that, me just get dark. Because I can't believe that you'd seek to poison the minds of people against people they work alongside in the same vocation. And compromise the person's ability to get the most valuable thing that he can get from this vocation, which is respect. So I come forward from there to say that this is happening as we speak. So if you're a journalist now and if you buy one new pair of shoes, there'll be someone who say, yeah, see it? See him buy new shoes, money you get to buy shoes. There are those of us who work 16-hour days and have worked 14 and 16 and 12 hours for years to acquire the things to make ourselves and our families comfortable. Many of us have lost relationships because of the hours we dedicate to the craft. A lot of hard. Every weapon knock you did it, you do some work and you collect your little 1 and 2 shilling and you put on 1 and 2 together. And you take care of yourself. And maybe because you walk and your boot no lean up, and your pants no tear, and your shirt collar no iron out, and you can't see the starch sheen on your pants, man say, yeah man, watch him no bow, him a do pedicure and manicure and trim every week. Money him a get for right story. What kind of nonsense? It's a real thing. It's happening. It has happened. That this is being said. And so I come forward to say that this is part of the wedge that the political operatives are driving between and amongst journalists. For people to not believe that their colleagues are honest in their opinions, are honest in their writing, do their work with integrity. And so, in the eyes of these operatives, these backdoor dealers, we are a country with labor right and PMP journalists. Not journalists, as we ought to have, We have labor right and PMP journalists, men and women that can be bought. How much money somebody could have given me for write story? You could pay me to write or say something. What would you pay me? What? And when you work hard, sleep too little, you don't even have much time to play with your children. And you get what you get. You accumulate what you accumulate. And then somebody whispers in somebody's ear and says, yeah man, I'm only him get for whatever. So that's why him have this or that's why she have that. It's a kind of thing to make you think of fabric, cloth. Yeah? It's a dangerous thing, and journalists need to be wary of those who would poison your mind against your colleague, because a disunited press is of no use to the democracy. A divided media is no use to a country of Jamaica's profile. And no, we're not a big friend from media colleagues. That's not it. But you want the media to be a united front against the attacks on the democracy, against the partisan, tribal nature that people would want to make permanent the state of the democracy. The media needs to be united against this. And this divide and rule, this setting up one faction against the other faction, it damages all of that. And yes, at certain stages of this media business, the pain are great. That's no secret. But there are many of us who went through that. Thankfully, we've emerged past that level. And as my brethren said to me the other day, he said, boy, as journalists, when we did broke, we never take money, so I know we will take it. There are few things that have irked me as much as that. And I'm saying to those of you who give your ear to these political operatives, run them when them come to you with rumors about your colleagues. Tell them to show you the proof. And those of you worming behind the scenes and feel so we don't know that you're walking and you're propagandizing and you're seeding the clouds to constantly rain in our yard. We know you, but your time will come.